There is a moment in adulthood that arrives quietly, almost without ceremony. You're in the middle of an ordinary day, washing dishes, answering a message, stepping out of your car, when you hear yourself think something you didn't choose. A sentence that feels old. A rule that doesn't belong to who you are now, yet sounds impossibly familiar, as if someone whispered it to you years ago and it never stopped echoing. Don't make trouble. Don't disappoint anyone. Be careful. Be pleasing. Be perfect. And for a second you freeze. Because you realize this voice isn't yours. This is the shock that slips in first, the subtle jolt that your life, in ways you never questioned, may not be as self-chosen as you believed. And as unsettling as that feeling is, it's also the doorway into something much deeper. Because behind that voice lies a pattern you didn't create, a pattern you inherited. And tonight, we're going to look at that pattern with a kind of quiet bravery. The pattern psychologists sometimes call a childhood script, the silent set of instructions you learned before you even knew you were learning anything at all. But before we name it, let's step into the emotional truth that brings you here. Imagine, for a moment, a situation so small you might normally overlook it. Someone asks you for a favor, a coworker, a friend, a sibling. You're exhausted. You don't have the time. And yet, without pausing, without thinking, your mouth forms the same familiar words. Yeah, sure. No problem. Later, alone, you wonder why you did that. Why you pushed your own limits again. Why you couldn't just say no. Or picture yourself at home, replaying a conversation where you stayed quiet even though you were hurt. You told yourself it wasn't worth it. You convinced yourself it would only make things worse. Conflict feels unsafe, even when someone has crossed a line. Or maybe it's the moment you stare at something you created, a project, a message, a piece of work, and whisper to yourself, "It's not good enough yet." You delete it. You start again. And again. And again. These aren't random habits. They're not quirks of personality. They are patterns. Silent reflexes. And if you've noticed them, even once, you've already begun to ask the question that sits at the heart of this video. Why do we keep following childhood rules and expectations long after they start hurting us? To answer that, we need to go back, not through memory, but through the emotional logic that shaped you before memory had words. Somewhere in your childhood, approval wasn't just something pleasant. It was something necessary. Praise wasn't simply encouragement. It was the sign that you were safe, accepted, valued. Disappointment wasn't just feedback. It felt like emotional distance, a withdrawal of warmth that your young mind interpreted as danger. Children don't analyze. They adapt. And so you adapted in the only way you could, by forming a script. Be agreeable. Stay quiet. Make them proud. Don't be too much. Don't cause conflict. Never be wrong. Don't show anger. Don't show fear. Don't show needs. And as these rules repeated themselves, through facial expressions, tone, moments of tension, moments of warmth, your mind stitched them together into a program. A script that taught you how to stay connected, how to stay safe, how to stay loved. This script was not logical. It was emotional. It was built from experiences too early to question, too early to name. And so it went underground, becoming part of your identity before you knew what identity was. And this is where the mechanism becomes nearly invisible. Because when a childhood rule is repeated often enough, it stops feeling like a rule. It becomes your instinct, your personality, your nature. You don't think, "I must avoid disappointing people because as a child, love felt conditional." You think, "I'm just someone who hates letting people down." You don't think, "Conflict once felt dangerous." You think, I'm just not a confrontational person. You don't think, perfection was my way of earning security. You think, I'm just very particular. But the truth is quieter and deeper. You're not obeying your personality. You're obeying an old emotional contract. And the contract was written long before you understood what you were agreeing to. Let's step into some everyday moments where this script plays out, not dramatically, not loudly, but subtly, through the tiny movements of a normal day. A friend messages you with a request you can't take on. Your phone lights up, you feel a small spike of tension, and before you've even typed a reply, the script lifts your hand for you. You say yes. Your body feels the familiar weight of obligation, and afterward, you feel a quiet resentment you don't want to admit. Not because you don't care about them, but because you abandoned yourself without even noticing. Or imagine you're sitting across from someone you love, a partner, a relative, and they say something hurtful, something careless. You feel the sting, you feel the urge to speak, but then an old rule rises. Don't start anything. Keep the peace. So you swallow it. You change the subject. And the moment passes, but the feeling stays. Conflict avoided. Relationship preserved. At the cost of your voice. Or consider perfectionism, the invisible cage that looks like ambition from the outside. You work late, you rewrite, you hesitate, you hide your work until it's flawless. Not because you want excellence for its own sake, but because imperfection was once met with tension, criticism, comparison. And so the script tells you, if it isn't perfect, you're not safe yet. These aren't random behaviors. They are emotional algorithms, small, repeated steps running beneath the surface of your life. And when you begin to see them clearly, an uncomfortable but liberating truth appears. You didn't choose these patterns, but you are still living by them. This is the moment, the turning point in the story, when something inside you pauses. Because realizing this doesn't solve anything instantly, but it changes how you see everything. You begin to notice that much of what you call me is actually who I had to be. And this recognition is the first real crack in the script. But to go deeper, we need to understand why the script persists into adulthood, long after the environment that created it has changed. The mind doesn't update its emotional rules simply because time has passed. The child who once needed protection grows into an adult who still reacts as if those early conditions are unfolding in real time. The body remembers faster than logic. The nervous system recognizes danger before words do. The old rules feel safer because they once were. And so the script continues, not because it's true, but because it's familiar. Let's step into another small moment. You are sitting on the edge of your bed, thinking about telling someone how you really feel, not dramatically, just honestly. Your chest tightens. Your breath shortens. There is no actual danger, yet your body experiences it as if there is. Because the script is not a thought. It is a reflex. You learned once that vulnerability could lead to rejection, or silence, or frustration. And even though you are older now, even though the people around you are different, your nervous system still carries the imprint of the original contract. And yet, and this is the quiet miracle of self-awareness, once you see the script, you are no longer trapped inside it. Awareness doesn't rewrite it instantly, but it breaks the illusion that it is just who you are. It creates a space between the reflex and the response. A moment where you can choose, instead of obeying automatically. A moment where you can notice. This isn't me speaking. This is something I learned to survive. That space is subtle. Sometimes it lasts only a second. But inside that second is a kind of freedom you may not have felt since childhood. Because now, for the first time, you can see the pattern from the outside. And that's when something shifts. Maybe you catch yourself saying yes too quickly, and you pause. Maybe you feel the urge to smooth over a conflict, and you breathe instead. Maybe you hear the familiar voice whisper, "Be perfect," and you let something be simply good enough. These are small movements, almost invisible to others. But inside you, they mark a quiet revolution. A life directed by a childhood script begins to move towards something new, a life directed by choice. Not dramatic choice. Not angry rebellion. But the slow, steady forming of a relationship with yourself that isn't built on fear, or compliance, or conditional worth. And it's important to say this clearly: this isn't about blaming the past, or the people in it. Childhood scripts weren't formed because you were weak or wrong. They formed because you were young, adaptive, and deeply sensitive to the emotional world around you. You wrote the script because you needed it. You're questioning the script because you've outgrown it. And as the video comes toward its ending, I want to leave you with something calm, something simple, something true. The childhood script in you is not an enemy. It was a survival pattern, a bridge over early uncertainty, a roadmap for connection when you didn't yet understand the terrain. But you are older now. Your world is wider now. And the rules that once protected you may no longer serve you. So sit with this quietly, without pressure. You are not required to follow the old script. The moment you see it clearly is the moment you begin to rewrite it. Not all at once. Not perfectly. But honestly. And sometimes honesty is the first real freedom you've ever given yourself.